This is delightful. I'm so glad we came here. Feel those vibrations at Camp Video Games. Howdy, campers. This is Camp Counselor Sean over at the Temple of Time. And who's that fella I'm looking at?
Hello, campers. This is Camp Counselor Josh, and I'm just here to first and foremost let you know, Tommy, I know your mom sends you zebra cakes, so when I find zebra cake wrappers, I know exactly who they came from, and I'm coming for you if you leave them behind one more time.
So, Tommy, if you find some dookie in your sock drawer, you'll know who that came from.
It was Camp Counselor Josh. I duked it in your drawer because you wouldn't throw away your zebra cake wrappers.
Now you got poop foot. That's a disease.
Anyway, let's talk about The Legend of Zelda animated series, Episode 7, Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. A doppelganger, that's a German word, right? Like, doppelganger. It sounds German.
Yeah.
A doppelganger, someone that looks just like you. For me, that's probably Ryan Gosling, Ewan McGregor.
Well, legally, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
Professionally.
I professionally do look like him.
Sean has professional experience in looking like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, I got to give Obi-Wan Kenobi a hug. And my lightsaber did not fall out of my underwear.
Is that a common thing that happens when people meet him?
When I see a beautiful man, sometimes, you just get...
Yeah, well, I'm mostly just stalling, so me, as I like to follow along frame by frame when we review, going back to the last episode, to review the font color choice.
Oh, right. Thanks to everyone who wrote in.
All right, so, alas, it is the same font. Same very heavy solid black drop shadow, but the color is white.
Interesting.
It was a distinct choice to make it lavender in the last episode. And written by Bob and Eve Forward.
Bob and Eve Forward. What's their relationship?
Dang it, you put it on me. I'm 90% sure that Eve is his younger sister that he invited to write an episode of this television show. Just for funsies, I want to say, like, I'm just remembering this from the same, I think it was Polygon oral history article.
Great article.
About this show. I want to say it was a teenager.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I'll look it up and double check while you continue on with the show.
Yeah. So this is one of those episodes where there's gonna be two characters that look the same, but for the benefit of the audience, one of them always looks distinctly different. But we'll get to that. Moblins, we got some little pig boys. They're climbing Hyrule Castle. He's got a boomerang he's got multiple boomerangs in his mouth. Because he must not understand how boomerangs work when you throw them. They never come back, right? That's how boomerangs work?
Yes.
Right, that's 100%. Like in their design. They never ever come back when you throw them. So you should bring a couple of boomerangs anytime you attack someone with boomerangs. Link, he's in his room. He's whistling the Mario theme song while he's like shadow fencing. I'd say he's in front of the wall.
Yeah. If we consider all licensed properties to be canonical, things get very confused because my lunchbox that you can see stored behind us in the Temple of Time,
which has been mentioned before on the show.
It has been mentioned before on the show, has Mario and Luigi on a couch watching the Zelda animated series on television.
Yeah, that's a doozy when it comes to figuring that out. You think Link and Zelda went and saw Chris Pratt voice Mario?
I'm not discussing that, man.
I heard a really funny thing. Like somebody was like, "Oh, like that actor. His name is Chris Pratt," and their mom was like, "Oh, that's such a mean name to give your kid." It's like, why? He's like, "Well, say it slowly. Crisp Rat."
That is very funny. Okay, so I found Eve Forward's recollection of working on this episode. Should I just share it in full? It's about 2 paragraphs.
No, just give the gist.
She was about 16 or 17 years old at the time.
Cool.
And the only direction I had was the show Bible, much like the rest of the writers, as we've discussed. She didn't have a Nintendo. She rented it to play the game.
Back when you could rent consoles.
Yeah. Did you ever do that? That was fun.
I rented a N64 before I bought one. I wanted to like prove to my parents how cool it was.
We rented Super Nintendo a few times before I finally got one, but she basically, the influence for the Doppelganger episode came from her experience in her personal Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Okay, that's cool.
That's sort of the TLDR.
I didn't realize she was a servant of Satan. But, I guess we'll still go on with this episode, even though it's tainted with dark magic. So the Moblin throws the boomerangs, Link deflects them, and then he zaps it off the tower. And then free jewelry. You get some free jewelry when that Moblin falls to its
when he picked it up, I thought this was going to be how he gets his higher armor tunic, because it's the same as the blue ring in Zelda 1.
Holy shit, that's right. Man, that would be wacky if they just changed his color palette halfway through the series. Right, because we're at episode 7. We got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're about halfway through. I mean, I guess we're as halfway as we can be. And
that's about the time when Link gets a tunic upgrade, usually.
Yeah, that's right. That increases your defense twofold at first, and does it show on your hearts when you get it, or is it just your actual armor changes color?
Not in the original Zelda, and I don't know the actual math of how the defense raises in the original, but that's the gist of it.
Right. I remember in Ocarina time when the Great Fairy powers up your health, and then you get the outlines over your heart indicators.
That's a big move.
Oh yeah, big day for Link. But the Moblin leaves what is called a force field ring. So I'm sure that'll probably, and they're probably not going to use it. Chekhov's force field ring. So back at the Piggy Palace, Ganon is pissed off. But his plan, he's going to use Link's love for Zelda to take advantage of it and pull out. He's like, I'll use Link's love for Zelda. And I don't know, it's like a weird spell, but he pulls out a magic potato.
Yeah.
And it blasts into Zelda's room, and first it goes through the forest floor and this magic potato, and it materializes in Zelda's room.
He's got a pretty sick aim, because he just gently tosses this thing. It comes he explodes out of the ground, and then finds its way exactly to Princess Zelda's bedroom window and turns into a mirror.
Do you think he considered the feng shui of where the mirror would fit into the room?
I mean, if a gentle toss was able to do all that, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Let's see what happens next, Josh. We got
Sprite finds the mirror in the room, is checking herself out.
Oh right, she's like, Zelda got another mirror. She must be really vain. And then she just kind of looks at herself in it.
Yeah.
So then Zelda she finds the mirror and she starts combing her hair, and a laser zaps from the reflection. I don't know, but basically what happens? Some magic happens. Magic mirror. Then we get goth Zelda. We get dark, hot Zelda.
Yeah, it's got me acting up. This beam comes through the window. Zelda just sees goth Zelda come out, and goth Zelda's able to just walk right out. She's hot. She's surrounded by moblins. It's happening.
Yeah, dude, it's hot when a chick has a gang.
Yeah.
You ever been in a gang, Josh?
Not particularly. I thought I had a posse once when I was about 7.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
We tried to start a country in my parents' backyard.
What was it going to be called?
It was called Drieshtem.
That's a sweet name.
Yeah, it was my name plus my friend Bree's name.
Okay.
And it was our kingdom. Really, really thoughtful stuff we came up with.
What's your policy on like public execution?
We are for it.
Okay, good. Got to teach these fucking peasants a lesson.
If you mess around with our Triforces, if you try to make us wear pants to bed, we're not about that.
Yeah.
You will be publicly executed.
Okay, good. Fear is the greatest motivator for obedience. The Moblins, they tie up OG Zelda, and her scream wakes Link up. He runs in to save, and this is we got the long T-shirt look, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't. I'm reviewing the frames in slow mo right now. I've not seen him hanging brain, but if somebody wants to take a closer look and correct us, shout out that email, Sean.
Dude, I know it's like if you find yourself watching the Legend of Zelda animated series, like some conspiracy theorists watch like the Zapruder footage, like give me an email, campvideogames@gmail.com.
What?
Tell us if you've ever seen Link's dick. Link breaks down the door. He zaps those moblins. 1, 2, whatever. How many? I don't care, man. I'm just here to get a smooch.
Yeah. He's busting up moblins. Does not at all question the fact that Zelda, who wears the exact same outfit every day, is wearing a different colored outfit and has a different voice.
Yep. Well, it's pretty much the same voice. It's just a little bit more stern.
Yeah.
But then a moblin throws a pitcher, like a jug of water, and it smashes the mirror, which pisses Dark Zelda off because she was going to use that as their portal back to the Piggy Palace. And now that their door has closed, she's got to figure out. Oh, and they took Zelda off. They carried her away to the Piggy Palace before the mirror broke. And now Zelda is going to use Link to bring. Dark Zelda is going to use Link to bring the Triforce of Wisdom right to Ganon.
Yeah, and throughout the rest of the scene, Dark Zelda is doing some BDSM leaning like Dom stuff, like stepping on Link's chest while she like demeans him.
Oh my god.
It's very it's almost as confusing as when I first saw Sailor Moon at age 12.
Man, what a good time to see Sailor Moon for the first time. Prepubescent. It instills good values just to know that like there's all walks of life, and some of them are just on people's chests. But dude, she can step on him all he wants, because then he gets that smooch.
Yeah,
and this is
some smooches.
This is like okay. What do we got? We got Casablanca. We got Gone with the Wind. We got When Harry Met Sally. True romances. We get to see. Now, granted, it's a doppelganger.
Yeah.
But we get to see Zelda and Link smooch.
Yeah.
It's been
a smooch for the ages.
It's been in the making for so long. But Link notices there's something off.
Yeah.
He makes note. He says, like, oh, you're a little colder than I would have liked or expected. But yeah, strong dominatrix vibe from
big time.
From
somebody was very excited to animate this episode.
So they ride to Ganon with the Triforce to attack, quote unquote. This time though, Link, he's got to carry that Triforce, and he asks Zelda, he's like, why can't we do the fucking balloon thing like last time? And Zelda, evil Zelda, she's like, because I said so. and Link, he's just like,
yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If it means I might get another smooch.
I'm such a piece of shit, right? Tell me how bad I am.
Tell me what a piece of shit I am and step on me again.
This is getting way too hot. Campers, it's okay. So Link, then they're riding past a body of water, and so this evil reflection doesn't cast a shadow on the water, which is interesting because you'd think that how do I say, okay, I get it, I get what they're doing, but she's obviously of corporeal form because she's able to She's controlling a horse by the reins. She's smooching. Like if Link like smooched her, like even if she's cold, like there'd be the feeling of a lover's lips on, and like So, but they're saying that like the moonlight won't be stopped by her body or whatever it is that would be casting the shadow on the water, right?
Right.
Like it would have made way more sense if like they like walked past like a super polished like armor set and there's no reflection, or you know what I mean? Like
Well, is this vampire rules? Do vampires cast shadows or reflections?
Man, do they? The Murnau Nosferatu, the old black and white, super creepy retelling of Dracula. There's an amazing scene and it's like giving me chills, right? I love it. I love it. If you've never seen Nosferatu and you think it's stupid because it's a black and white silent film, then I don't know, take some mushrooms, put it on a projector, don't talk to your family, and watch it in the middle of the day. But there's a great scene with Count Orlok. That's the Dracula character for that one. He sends his shadow up to a woman's room, and it's just amazing. Like the shadow is like 10 feet tall, crawling up the staircase, and it's like a wonderful image, and it's like iconic and like horror cinema. So yeah, Dracula's they got shadows.
Okay. Do they have reflections?
They do not have reflections.
Aha.
That's a big sticking point that Van Helsing used. By the way, listeners, my favorite book is Dracula.
Listen up, dear reader. My favorite book is about a Dracula.
Another tequila sunrise. No, Dracula fucking rips, dude. It is such a wonderful adventure book, and like I think the greatest fantasy ever written. Like, fuck Lord of the Rings. Like, I love Lord of the Rings, but it's like it doesn't have shit compared to Dracula. Van Helsing uses a mirror to prove to Dracula that he knows he's a vampire because he flashes it at him, and Dracula recoils because he doesn't cast a reflection.
Yeah.
So yeah, Link, he sees that evil Zelda's not casting a shadow. So he deduces that it's not her. And he's like, well, this will still be fun. Like, whatever. I guess I'll just take this priceless artifact into the hands of the enemy, where the stakes are at the highest, and whatever. We'll just...
hell, why not?
Yeah.
It's also fun for me to reflect, with this being written by a 16 or 17-year-old based on their Dungeons & Dragons campaigns.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if that's an element that came straight from their game. Like, they had to discover a doppelganger by noticing it didn't have a reflection or something. That's just a very cute thought to me.
I mean, check your bestiary. Read your books.
Yeah.
Read your book. Back at the Piggy Palace, Ganon, he's got Zelda, the real Zelda, the legendary one, dare I say. He's got Zelda tied to a stalagmite, and she bites his finger.
His little fingy bit.
And then she calls him Porky. And then Ganon goes...
Yeah, was there something... this is probably nothing. I'm grasping at straws. The fact that Ganon is a pig. You think he just wants to establish a more authoritarian rule over Hyrule? Ganon's a cop.
I assume he's a fascist.
Yeah, he's just a fascist cop, and doesn't like how sort of progressive and democratic the land of Hyrule is. Although they're a monarchy too. So
yeah, it's the lesser.
So very complicated politics they've got going on here.
You're deciding between the lesser of two evils here. Anything that puts power before people is an evil.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather have a monarch than a authoritarian cop.
It really just depends on the monarch. You know who was he wasn't a monarch per se, but he was a count. Dracula, not a great guy to be in charge. Not a great guy to be in charge. It really just depends on who's holding the scepter. Zelda cuts her bonds with a boomerang, and apparently these boomerangs are sharp as fuck. But that doesn't. Did you ever in the Road Warrior, the feral kid? Did you see that one? The second Mad Max.
I'm gonna say something really embarrassing right here.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen a single Road Warrior movie.
Oh man, they're fantastic
there's
stuff.
So many. For a guy who consumes so much content,
yeah,
there's so many cultural touchstones I've missed.
So Road Warrior in Australia at least, it performed better in theaters than The Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Nice.
It's a fantastic movie. You know, all bullshit about Mel Gibson aside, George Miller, the director, is a master of cinematography. And there's a kid, real quick. This kid has a sharp boomerang. So if maybe they saw Road Warrior and they thought, hey, I guess all boomerangs, because there's this feral child who's like non-communicative, and he's like being raised kind of just by this entire tribe. He doesn't seem to have a single mother figure, who probably died at some point, or a father figure. And there's just a point where he like tries to attack the main bad guy with a boomerang, and he avoids it, but one of the bad guy's minions tries to catch it, and the boomerang just slices through digits of his fingers. It's so good. Really, man, Road War. You know, I'll say this. Mad Max, the first movie, is a very slowly paced movie, and it's kind of a grimy, like, the first two movies have pretty bad, like, sexual assault in them. They're very gritty. Like, they use that as a means of telling you that the people perpetrating it are very bad people.
Yeah.
The first Mad Max is not as fantastic or well paced as Road Warrior, and then after that they kind of went off the rails for a while. Beyond Thunderdome, with Tina Turner playing. She's wonderful as like a presence on the screen, but it's a weird one. Anyway, sharp boomerangs. So Zelda, she cuts her bonds with a boomerang. Link and Zelda, they're working their way up a staircase. Link's hauling the Triforce like it's a fucking like a keg.
Yeah, it's just weird. It seems to have a bunch of weight to it all of a sudden. And she also like makes out with him first.
Well, she uses that as like incentive. He's like, I'm tired. And she's like, she smooches him, and like apparently that's like in Zelda 2, right? Where those hot chicks would like take you into their room in the towns and then refill your health. Boom, nailed it.
It's just
I said they're hot chicks. They're like 4 pixels. What the hell is wrong with me?
It's, you know, in the abstraction, what you fill in your mind is very hot. That little pillbox hat, you know there's something real nice under there.
I need therapy, man.
You need Christ in your life. Anyway, I just want to note the smooch is underwhelming. If I was the Link, I'd be like, no, I'm good on future smooches.
I don't know. Link seems the, like, you know, any safe port in a storm kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Then they get attacked by Stalfos and Moblins. Link zaps them. A bomb detonates, like, right next to the Triforce of Wisdom. And it just goes up in the air. Apparently it's invulnerable to explosions, which is convenient. Then it just like slams down, and it seems to do like a combo attack on all the other Stalfos around them. But then Link zaps the rest of them. Like, how else do we talk about this combat most of the time? It's like, I don't know how many times I've written the word zap.
But what he does. He's a zapper. That's his attack. Zap.
Zapperoo. Then another smooch.
Also, the Triforce gets some serious hang time, and for whatever reason, it's shudder to the ground can murder Stalfos. They're the only ones that they disappear in a cloud of green. By the way, if we want to get nitpicky,
the color of ghosts.
Yes,
and of Ganon's magic.
And yeah, another nice big open mouth smooch.
So what you're saying is that we don't have to worry about what happens in Tears of the Kingdom because we already know.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting off these 2 Stalfos.
That's it.
That were sent there by the Triforce of Wisdom in the 1988 series. 89 series, Legend of Zelda, the animated series. Yes, that is the plot line. Anyway, Zelda shows up. Real Zelda shows up.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Not as hot as evil Zelda.
Nope.
She's not even that nice. Remember the White Knight episode?
She's not very nice or nice with it, if we're being real.
Sometimes you look good in black.
Yeah, and then we quickly go into like a little Scooby-Doo caper in the next scene.
The Scooby-Doo door chase gag.
Yeah, we do a Scooby-Doo door chase without like a 60s sort of pop rock backing track, unfortunately.
Link and Zelda do blue blue blue. Well, you know what? Let's just call her Hot Zelda now. Hot Zelda hides in a trap door, which then and she like slides off. It's like, man, like, okay, just to build a trap door, it's fine, but then to have like a fun trap door, it seems like one that's like not there to like hurt people. It's more just like for a quick escape, I guess.
Imagine being the trap door designer who's like, I've done so many trap doors this week. I just want to do a silly one for me now.
This one's for me. You do one for the money, one for the soul.
One for them and one for me.
Link, like he slams into vanilla Zelda, and they almost plummet to their deaths.
Yeah, they go face first down some brick stairs.
Yeah.
Also, did we mention that Hot Zelda has the Triforce at this point?
Right. I think she took it during the Moblin Stalfos fight. And then they get attacked by Octoroks, shooting them stones. Force field ring comes into play. I was really surprised that he used it. I just thought it was like a throwaway, that they established in the first scene.
And that, in a way, it acts like the ring does in the original Zelda. Provides a defense of sorts.
Yes. And then the Octoroks get zapped. Moving forward, there's a continuity error where as
in this show,
as Zelda is talking, we're supposed to be talking with normal Zelda, but her color scheme is Hot Zelda for a second.
That's funny. When they fall in the muck?
Before that.
We aren't in the muck yet.
Yeah, right after the Octorok attack. I didn't write the time code for it, but yeah, keep an eye out, listeners. There's they made a mistake, and I want you to know it. Zelda dive tackles her imposter, and they like crash into a subterranean lake. And then we got two muddy girls.
All right, this show.
They muddy.
Yeah, they muddy as hell. And then Link's got to do the old which one's the real one.
And how does he figure that out? He declares a smooching contest.
I guess I've got to kiss them all.
Yeah, this is actually a clever ploy if you think about it, because even like, okay, think about it from Link's perspective here. He's got two beautiful women. If he puts on the smooching contest and they're both actually willing to participate, he gets two smooches free of charge. One of them going to be a little bit colder. That's how he knows which one's bad.
And either way, he gets a smooch.
But he gets
because he already knows one's down. Mm-hmm. And is that how he ends up deducing? He's like, no.
The real Zelda just slaps Link.
But like, is that how he knew? He was just like, you were the only one that was like DTK 24/7.
Yeah, I think that the real idea behind his scheme, if he was going to be a bit more altruistic in his approach for peace in Hyrule, would be that he knows that the real Zelda is not going to submit to a kissing contest at this very moment.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
covered in mud. No one likes and she even does that. I think it's the White Knight episode again, where like she's like, "Don't kiss me, I'm muddy," and Link's like, "No, dude, I like it dirty. Like get me dirty."
Yeah.
So yeah, OG Zelda slaps Link. Oh, and this actually answers a question that I had before. She zaps Goth Zelda with Link's sword.
Yeah.
So, okay, answered. Question answered. Can anybody just use Link's sword? Well, at least Zelda can.
At least fellow Triforce holders can.
Yeah. Oh, good way of putting it. I always thought of this as like when Han used Luke's lightsaber to open up the Tauntaun's belly on Hoth. Like, I think for a lot of people, they were like, oh, I guess anyone can use a lightsaber.
Yeah. Not very gracefully, I'm sure. But
he spilled that animal's guts. I remember those guts looking so gross in Empire Strikes
Big
Back.
time.
Then Ganon appears. And Link zaps him.
A lot of zapping going on.
And then also
we should do a zap count for the next episode.
That's gonna range in the dozens. The roof gets destroyed, and a boulder hits Ganon. And then So the Link and Zelda escape. I think you were delighted by how this happened when we were watching through.
Yeah, they just fly out. They just put their arms out Superman style, touching the Triforce and gently, like, I don't even know if they animate like the characters or if they just no, it's literally just these two cells just like slowly gliding to the top, reaching for the Triforce.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
It just seems very convenient. They can just kind of fly whenever they need to.
Yeah, I wish it would like at least explain because like what's with the horses? What's with the going? Like what's with...
Why aren't you flying all the effing time?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I mean, also like, is this Triforce of Wisdom like it's a source of infinite power?
Well, yeah, sure, okay. You don't want to fly all the time because you don't want to take the Triforce everywhere. But they've flown pretty close to this other times without the Triforce anywhere around. Anyway, it's fine. They can fly.
We got Ganon. He's all muddy now. He's in that mud, and that was thinking about like, okay, Ganon, he's a pig, right? He's supposed to love all this mud.
I mentioned in our review commentary, it was like, yeah, he's a pig. He's a pig and shit. Shouldn't he be happy right now? And he's shaking his fist angrily. That I don't buy that. That's not true to life.
And if you'd like to hear how we originally discussed Ganon being in mud, you can subscribe to our Patreon, where you can listen to full-length commentary of every episode of The Legend of Zelda, plus more.
You sure can.
So,
go ahead. Never mind.
You got something?
No.
we got a muddy pig boy. He's mad, and he's got that underwater like gargle voice. He's like, I wish they would have had the foresight to be like, well, pigs love mud. He's happy as a pig and shit.
Yeah, that would have been.
He's not.
Great opportunity for a little joke right there.
I don't know how he does his dry cleaning because his robe is usually like immaculate.
I'm just saying, if anybody wants to reboot any Nintendo series from the 80s or 90s as an animated series, I am available. You only need to pay me. I think we decided about $6,000 a month. I will quit my job and move to Burbank, California.
And only Burbank, California.
Yeah, your studio has to be in Burbank, California. Otherwise, I will not go. And I will sit in your writer's room and I will pitch you perfect bits like that you missed the first time around.
Yeah. It's not a bad deal, guys. Like, especially for if you're talking about like union screenwriters.
Oh, I'm gonna need a union card. Also, I'm probably gonna have to up that rate.
You're gonna need a raise
because LA is way more expensive than where we live.
We're talking Midwest prices here.
I'll do it remotely for $6,000.
There we go. So this is great at the end. So all's well, I guess. Link and Zelda, they escape. And then Link, he looks over at Zelda. He's like, you should wear black more often.
Hell yes, king. Hell yes, my king.
And then she runs off, I guess, so angry with him that she's like has to run away from him. But he chases after her, and we get that final, excuse me, princess.
Yep. At this point, I think we are pretty certain there's at least 3 per episode. We haven't counted strictly up to this point, but I will try to make a point of it from now on.
Yeah.
See if we get at least 3 of those per episode.
The excuse me tally. What's the catchphrase quota?
Catch quota.
Catch quota. Folks, that's episode 7. We made it. That's how this episode ends. Is just the titular heroine running away from the hero.
As she should. That was not a good line to end your adventure on, Link. Sorry, pal.
I think the closest. I mean, okay, iconic catchphrases in television history. We got one of these days I'm gonna punch you in the face or whatever.
Most of them have to do with violence against women. Yes.
Then we got what you talking about, Willis? I pity the fool.
Did I do that?
Oh, of course, the platinum standard of TV catchphrases. Oh, and then you got
Yeah. We've got ay caramba. Bart had a few.
Oh, Bart was the
Bart had so
king.
many that they ended up making an episode about Bart catchphrases.
Oh yeah,
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Yeah, excuse me, princess. It's got to be
Really?
It
did not work
gotta
its
be
way to the
zippy.
pantheon.
It doesn't hold up these days because first, like it's a little too much to like Rick and Morty did a great job with just like wubba lubba, like you just make fucking nonsense.
Yeah,
like,
well, like-
make it easy to say if you're
as corny
passed out.
as that show is, and the fact that
Not a fan. I'm really not a
the-
fan of Rick and Morty.
The series creator is a child predator. Just the phrase "wubba lubba dub dub"
Yeah.
feels good to say. That's the, well, I mean, it's the cellar. That's the cellar door of
Beautiful
catchphrases.
word. Oh, I just got goosebumps.
And
Say it,
excuse me, princess,
goosebumps are gone.
is like the moist of catchphrases.
Oh, that's
Like
all today.
it just like syllabically, and the consonants just do not feel good in the mouth.
Man, let's think about just the worst word to end a podcast on. 3, 2, 1. Moist.
Doppelganger.
Oh, also, if you had, like we were talking about this earlier with the Alphas Improv, if you have sex with a bunch of people who look the same as you could call it a doppelgangbang.
Yeah. Oh no, that was in the commentary. So they got to get the Patreon for that.
Oh yeah. We're talking about a really cool comedy group.
And how bad we want to bang ourselves. That's what you get.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us here at Camp Video Games. I promise it'll be less raunchy next time. I don't know. I think we're in like retrograde right now or something.
I don't know if it will. I don't know. I'm bleeding into this energy.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of smooches in this one. I think it's just it's hard to recover from
Maybe,
it.
yeah, maybe it was the smooch level of this episode.
I mean, usually it's 0 smooches. So, yeah. Oh, hold on. We don't even have a smooch quota to even dream of.
nah.
So, folks, thanks for joining us. Hang out with us anytime you want because you can just re-listen to episodes or just wait until new ones come out because that's how media works.
Sure does. In the meantime, Zachary, clean up your gosh dang zebra cake wrappers.
Zach, man. And also,
Don't let me
stop
tell you
looking at
again.
me like that.
Yeah. I'm going to take away your phone call privileges.
If you'd like to write to us, send a message to campvideogames@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at campvideogames. If you want to become a real happy camper, you can support Camp Video Games on Patreon. For $5 a month, you'll be granted access to even more discussions about movie-based video games, game-based movies, full-length commentaries, playthroughs, and more. Whether you sign up or not, we're glad to have you here at Camp Video Games.